Welcome everyone to the channel. It's your boy World of Wrestling back again with another review for WWE Raw November 25th, 2024 review. Give me 1 second, guys. I have an issue to deal with just for one moment, and I'll be right back. That just occurred in my room, so I'll be right there with you in just a moment with the entire review. Hold on one moment, guys. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. There was just an issue. My PS5, for some strange reason, when connected to this television we have in this new house, apparently turns on automatically when you turn on the TV set. Some sort of setting I got to turn off, and my wife doesn't know how to use the gaming consoles because she's not too familiar with gaming and whatnot. So she wanted me to come in there and get that fixed. Love Girl leaving quite a few messages here in the chat. Love Girl says, "Do you see Kevin Owens beating Cody Rhodes for his championship at Saturday Night Main Event?" No, I do not. She mentions, "Do you see The Rock showing up at Survivor Series and helping Solo's team win?" That I see as a possibility. Yeah, most definitely. Do you think once Cody loses his championship, he will turn heel? He will not lose the championship to no one. He is staying champion for quite a while. Is there going to be any surprises or returns showing up at Survivor Series? Rock might be one of them. You might be right about that. That I am concerned with. I actually do have a website that I am using that's an offshore betting website, and I have considered betting on the Roman Reigns, the bloodline versus the OG bloodline versus the new bloodline War Games match and the women's War Games match. Both of them have very good odds. Very, if you were to, like, let's say you were betting $70 a piece on each match, both of them would give you at least $25 or close to it, which is the maximum you can bet on these offshore sites. I mean, the maximum that you can win back from these offshore sites from the favorites. The underdogs, you can bet up to $25 and you win a shit ton more of money. But the thing is, how often does an underdog actually win? I don't know. It depends on how well the bookie of the website is following the promotion, and if you can find a hole where they made a mistake on who wins and who loses in the match. That's about the only way you can bet on an underdog for pro wrestling. But otherwise, this is very easy to bet when it comes to pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is a thing that I love betting on. I know wrestling in and out. Lately, I do go on False Count Anywhere, which is a prediction website where you can predict a series of questions that they give you and answer them, competing against several other people, like 30 to 40 people a pop, and you trying to compete for emoji championship belts, which I have won 4 of them, 2 silver championships for a week to week basis, and 2 pay-per-view championships. One was a gold championship and one was a bronze. I have not won any month to month overall stats on that yet, being in the top 3. Very difficult. But it's a fun little hobby and it's enjoyable. So if you guys aren't interested in actually betting for this shit on on the pay-per-views, but prefer to do the week to week televised shows that go live, and make your predictions and compete against others, including myself, you're by all means, you can go ahead and do so. And it costs you nothing really. So it is kind of a fun little thing to do. Love Girl says, I hope AJ Lee is in the Royal Rumble next year. I don't see AJ Lee actually competing for WWE ever, even for a actual Royal Rumble match of some sort where she's there for like 5 minutes and goes bye-bye. Maddie Seven Eagle says, best segment was the New Day meltdown. Absolutely. Great fucking segment. Loved it. And do you see Sheamus winning the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series against Braun Breaker and Luke Kaiser? It is a possibility. It is a match that I probably would not bet against. I was thinking Braun Breaker, but JD did mention something very interesting that's a possibility. What if Sheamus was to beat, let's say, Kaiser, be the guy to take a pinfall? Braun Breaker moves on to bigger and better things for himself, doesn't carry the Intercontinental Championship. And then Bronson Reed ends up winning the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania against Sheamus. That, I think, would be very good. Very good way of giving Sheamus a run with the title for a couple of months leading into a big pay-per-view, and then him losing it to Bronson Reed. I think that would be excellent. I may actually consider betting that. Believe it or not, I may consider betting on Sheamus because Sheamus would be an underdog in this match. I think Braun Breaker would be the favorite going in. I'd probably drop $25 on Sheamus whenever that is available to bet on. Because generally they don't, these offshore websites, betting sites don't actually upload these matches on their website until like, I'd say a few days just before the pay-per-view takes place. And then you just put in your bets and that's it. So you got to be really quick on the dime, to actually get it at very good odds, because the odds will go up and so forth, and pretty much you're pretty much shooting yourself in the foot. But yeah, I would say Sheamus is a possible winner of this match, and I'm thinking I might actually bet on him for this matchup to actually win. LA Knight, I think, probably is going to be the one to win his match against Shinsuke Nakamura. I think they could do a rematch for this, and then Nakamura could end up winning the U.S. title. But I don't see Nakamura winning the match in like the first time. But maybe he could. I don't know. But I'm not interested in betting that match either, because I might be wrong about that altogether. The women's War Games match, easy. Rhea Ripley's group is going to win that match without question. There's no doubt about it. I would put money on that shit without blinking an eye, honestly. Matt A7 Eagles, surprisingly, this wasn't a taped show, but SmackDown was or will be on Friday. Well, Oh well. Not to mention, Survivor Series will be taking place at 6 p.m. I will be going live for this right after the show is over. I will be scheduling it to guarantee that I will be obligated to do this. So I will be doing this review without question. And it should be a fun pay-per-view. Really, I think it is going to be a blast to watch. And I don't think we're going to be really disappointed at all. Because as of late, WWE has been where wrestling is at for people that want to view good content. And this is it. Straight up. Give me 1 second here. I'm just typing in the episode so that I can go ahead and give you guys the full-on review. For Raw. Raw wasn't bad, but it wasn't super great either. I'm not going to praise them for doing okay. They were decent. That's basically what they've been, decent overall. There you go. Main event of the show was Bianca Belair and Nia Jax. Match was okay. Bayley ended up helping Bianca Belair at the end of the night during this match to help her get the W. And beginning in the show, we found out Jade Cargill was not going to be competing in the Survivor Series match. She actually is dealing with a legitimate injury. So they decided to find out who they're going to go and replace Jade Cargill. Bayley was a big talking point backstage during this event. And Bianca Belair wanted nothing to do with it. Bayley ends up saving her, and that pretty much changed Bianca Belair's opinion about Bayley for right now. So there's a good chance that we're going to have the announcement that Bianca Belair is going to be the person, or Bayley is going to be the person that's going to be taking Jade Cargill's spot. We kick-started the show with Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion. And Gunther is looking a little troubled. He can't really seem to have any confidence. Cody Rhodes has shot him down like nobody's business. And Damian Priest is definitely taking advantage of this. So he was asked, what's going on? Your confidence seemed like it's shot right now since the Cody Rhodes loss. What's running through your mind? Damian Priest comes out. He stands there. He says, hey, I'd love to hear what the champ has to say because lately you haven't been the same ring general that you've claimed to be. And you're really in up shit's creek without a paddle. And Gunther doesn't really say anything. He just kind of, just gets angry eventually, hits him upside the head with the microphone, and gets an advantage. And then they end up outside. Gunther connects with a short arm clothesline on the floor before clearing the commentary table. Referees run down. Priest grabs Gunther and sends him into the ring post. And Priest punches away at Gunther before putting him through the commentary table with a razor's edge. Priest grabs the World Heavyweight Championship and holds it up over Gunther before throwing it down at him. And Gunther is lying on the ground in a broken heap. Priest walks off celebrating. Obviously, we are going to see Gunther retain his championship. There's no doubt about it. First match of the night, we have Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee versus the American Made, Brutus and Julius Creed. American Made actually win a fucking match finally. What do you know? It's amazing how things can actually change in 1 week. That was thanks to a little help from Chad Gable twisting the mask of Rey Mysterio and reversing it where Rey can't see jack shit. And then while he can't see nothing, they go for a advantage roll-up pinfall and get the W. Chad Gable widely wildly celebrates with the Creed brothers at ringside in their Zell. They knock Gable over. An American Made poses on commentary table. Okay. Judgment Day Clubhouse. Oh, wait. Hold on. Yeah. Judgment Day Clubhouse is next. Oh, yeah. The women are getting a Intercontinental Championship. There's going to be a tournament after Survivor Series. That should be fun. And so does the women on SmackDown for a U.S. title. So that should be pretty interesting to see how all that unfolds for the mid card for women. So Judgment Day. Finn Balor and JD McDonough are backstage with Women's World Champion Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Dominic Mysterio, and Carlito. R-Truth walks up and says he needs to place to hide from Butch. And Balor says R-Truth needs a place to hide from him if he doesn't leave. And R-Truth says they're not a family anymore and Thanksgiving is off. R-Truth walks off. Balor calms Carlito down and says the time for fun and games is over. Morgan needs the advantage in War Games since Dominic couldn't stop Damian Priest. He's on track for the World Heavyweight title. Dom and Carlito also lost to the War Raiders last week, but they softened them up, the War Raiders, for them, making them good team players. Balor says that teamwork will keep the Judgment Day as tag team champions for 154 days and counting. Morgan and Rodriguez will leave War Games victorious, and it will be a great week for the Judgment Day. There are no leaders, but when they listen to Balor, they're one big, happy, successful family. So, of course, there's no leaders, but yeah, Finn Balor is definitely a leader of this group now. Braun Breaker versus Kaiser in a one-on-one non-title match. This was a good match. Ended up being disqualification because of Sheamus interference. Braun Breaker really hurt himself with a running spear on the outside, going into the corner of the table, hitting chest first, and really doing a number on his chest. I thought he injured himself, broke a rib or something. But fortunate enough, he's not injured or anything like that, so he's good to go. He managed to get back in the match as when we got back from commercial break, so everything was good from there. And Sheamus ends up getting the match to be a disqualification. While when we got back from break after the match was over, we see the three of them brawling on top of the stage. And Adam Pearce says that it will be a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series. Great match. Should be fun. I see Sheamus possibly winning against Kaiser or Braun Breaker beating Kaiser to retain his championship. So it's going to be one of those two beating Kaiser in this match. Yeah, I'm skipping all this other stuff I already mentioned. Kathy Kelly's backstage with Jimmy, Jay, and Sami Zayn. She asks about the return of Paul Heyman and CM Punk. Zayn says they were shocked. They were ready to go into a 5-on-4 match, but now they have CM Punk. Punk is a complicated guy. Everybody everyone knows him, has a complicated history with him. Punk and Roman Reigns will sit down and talk on Friday. Zayn wants to trust Punk, but the question is if they can. Jimmy Uso says the wise man is vouching for Punk now that they just need the Yeet man to win the War Games advantage match against Jacob Fatu on Friday. Jey Uso is fired up and says he will win. Matthew Consuelo in the house. What's up? What's up, my friend? What's up? He mentions, does New Day break up next week? Yes, they do. That is definitely we're going to have Big E playing as a mediator, trying to work things out, get these guys back on the same page, and Xavier Woods is turning heel. We're going to get probably a Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty type of feel happening here. We're going to act like, oh, we're good old buddies again. And then we're going to see Xavier Woods just low blow Kofi Kingston and go off the deep end. And that's pretty much what's going to happen. I think that's exactly what we're going to see happen. I hope Xavier Woods can pull off a singles run. I don't know if he can. I'm not really a big Xavier Woods fan, but we'll get into that segment when we get to it, because that was actually one of the biggest segments of the night. Really good segment, man. War Raiders went up against the Judgment Day for the World Tag Team titles. They end up losing this match. Decent match. But nothing too exciting occurred here. Next, we had Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are backstage. Woods says he wants to squash the last few months because he loves Kingston. Kingston says he's proud of what they've done. Next week, they'll celebrate 10 years. For now, I'll show the world what the New Day is all about. New Day makes their entrance, and they'll face the Alpha Academy. Match was very quick and straight to the point. You think Big E will be there next week? Yes, Matt 87 Eagle. He will definitely be there. That's definite going to happen. Alpha Academy end up winning this match. Xavier Woods takes the L, not Kofi Kingston. I thought Kofi Kingston was going to take the L here. We were going to see it in a massive explosion at some point. That was not the case. Xavier Woods takes the L for his team. And then we get this backstage segment. These two fucking explode on each other, going through a lot of history of different things that occurred. And I thought it was amazing how they brought back all the old things that occurred, like Kofi Mania, him losing the title of Brock Lesnar in 6 seconds, and just everything. Xavier Woods said, I was the guy that encouraged you to go after the world championship. You didn't have that encouragement. I encouraged you because I believed in you. I thought you were the guy. You ended up getting all this. Biggie and I helped you get all this momentum from the crowd and everything else. And you pissed it all away in 6 seconds against Brock Lesnar. Thought it was great. Then he mentioned, Kofi Kingston mentions, well, you want to know why you never made it as a single star and Biggie and I did? Because you're reckless. You're not as good as you think you are. That was a really, really shot right to the fucking face, man. And it's the truth. He is not as good as the other two. He's the weak link. He was always the weak link of the New Day. Anytime you go back and you watch their matches where they did trios matches or tag team matches and they lost, Xavier Woods was your guy that took the L for him. Just like he did last night. I'm sorry, Xavier Woods is a fucking weak link to this faction. Always has been, always will. He never really defended the tag team titles all that much until Big E got his big break as a singles competitor. But Xavier Woods has never been a singles guy. He's always been tag team. The only time Xavier Woods was a singles guy was in TNA as Consequences Creed, trying to reenact the Rocky Balboa character, Apollo Creed. That's it. That's the only time, and he won the TNA X Division Championship. That's his singles run. It was a decent run. I won't deny him of that, but not that big of a fucking deal. That's where this guy started from, TNA. And he hasn't done shit since as a singles competitor. Not a fucking thing. But great segment. These two guys shot each other verbally, and then eventually they just told each other, we'll see you next week, brother, and that's it. And Xavier Woods was standing there furious as hell. So this should be interesting. Final Testaments backstage. The Miz says the Wyatt Six are in the arena. Karrion Kross asked if they saw the Miz, and Kross tells Scarlett to stay in the back. They make the Miz come with them, and Scarlett looks in the mirror, and Sister Abigail is in the background. Nikki Cross. Scarlett is horrified. We see the behind scenes footage of the CM Punk's return at last year's Survivor Series on YouTube. The Miz says he was certain he saw the Wyatt Six before. Karrion Kross says they'll find them soon. Pete Dunne asks if they've seen R-Truth, but they blew him off, and they knock on the locker room door, but there is no answer. They walk in, and the locker room is destroyed. Scarlett is terrified and says Nikki Cross did this. On the mirror is written in lipstick, everyone has something to lose. So, I don't know. Video before Raw started, Raw General. Yeah, I already mentioned they introducing a women's intercontinental title, which will be in a tournament and so forth. Matt87 Eagle says no traditional Survivor Series match announced. Boo. I mean, I'm not surprised. There's 2 War Games matches. That's basically what Survivor Series has come down to. It's Fall Brawl is what Survivor Series has become. Is just War Games. That's their Survivor Series traditional matches. They don't have traditional Survivor Series matches. The War Games is their traditional matches. So there you go. That's what you get. You're not getting traditional Survivor Series anything anymore. Not as long as War Games exists. So there, that's what's going to happen. I honestly think War Games should be in elimination, not pinfall or submission to end a match. Or by forfeit by leaving the cage. But I really think it should be by elimination, mixing the War Games rules and Survivor Series traditional rules together and getting it that way. I think that would be a lot more fun and enjoyable. And the match that could occur during the members of each team getting in, they could do the submission and pinfalls. But unfortunately, I don't think that's ever going to happen. So, just my opinion. Anyway, backstage segment. Women's champion Nia Jax is backstage with women's world champion Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Jax says War Games is over. Win or lose in this advantage match, it's about squashing Bianca Belair. They have the advantage and will win. We get a video package of Solo Sikoa with his bloodline. Solo Sikoa says we're 5 days away from Survivor Series. Roman Reigns caught them off guard on Friday. They've got the wise man back and CM Punk on his side. Solo Sikoa says that was a good one, but that's all he'll get. Reigns took his best shot. Now it's Solo Sikoa's turn. This Friday, it's Jey Uso versus Jacob Fatu. The winner of the match gets the advantage in War Games. Sikoa doesn't care if Reigns has 100 people at his side. Sikoa has the advantage because he's the tribal chief. Solo Sikoa acknowledges his bloodline over Reigns' bloodline. There you go. I thought it was a good segment. Nice little commentary there by Solo Sikoa. I am honestly concerned about Roman Reigns' match. But then again, I also feel a little, safe on betting on Roman Reigns' team simply because they got Punk. I don't think you're going to bring Punk back and have him lose. It just seems a little stupid in my personal opinion. So, I don't know. They could always have The Rock show up after the match is over like he did at Bad Blood and do that. That's always another option they could go. So, yeah. Matt87 Eagle says, yeah, but why have Wyatt 6 go after Cross and Miz then? Or Karrion Kross. Simply because they're going to have some major match booked on the Raw episode. That's why. That's all they're going to do. Or maybe they're building this up for Saturday night's main event placement. Maybe they'll book a match for them to wrestle against the Wyatt Six on Saturday night's main event card. I don't know. I mean, I do believe the Saturday night's main event is going to be at least 2 hours. So it's basically going to be treated like a pay-per-view. Matt 87 Eagle says, good setup for Roman versus Punk at SummerSlam next year. I mean, I could see that, possibly. Depending on the situation, which character's what, who's a heel, who's a babyface, that type of thing. Depends on how the story unfolds. But yeah, right now, the way things look, they could definitely lead to that. But we'll wait and see when we get closer to SummerSlam, personally. Then we get to the main event. Already mentioned, Bianca Belair ends up winning this match with Bayley's assistance. Bianca Belair didn't want nothing to do with Bayley, but Bayley may end up being the partner to this team going up against the Nia Jax's team and Liv Morgan's team, and Rhea Ripley is going to get her revenge against Liv Morgan. I'm taking Rhea Ripley's team to win. This gives a chance for Rhea Ripley to end up getting a title opportunity at Saturday night's main event and seeing her become the women's world champion on that episode. So that's where I'm leaning to on that. But anyway, guys, that's all I have to say at this time. This was a fairly decent episode. Not great, but it was fair. I give it a C. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say at this time. So you know what to do, guys. Go ahead, hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.